So, video number 37 in the 100 series of jazz violin. Before I get into some chordal theory pretty soon, I want to cover a couple more concepts before we do that. One is there's many more scales than the pentatonics I talked about or the major. Although the major is the main one, the standard bearer, and everything can be compared to it and judged by it. There are many kinds of minor scales. Now, if you're a classical musician, you may know this already. Let's review quickly some things. This is not meant to be an exhaustive thing. Since you now know all 12 of the chromatic intervals, we can talk about these in numbers. So, pure minor, or one of the modes, we'll talk about that in another video. The sixth mode, or Aeolian, it's called, is not the most exciting scale, if you ask me. It has a flat 3, a flat 6, flat 7. Now we'll go to our friendly example of D major. We'll flat the third note. Fourth is the same. 5 is the same. 6 is flatted. 7th is flatted. And 8. It's kind of a holy sound, isn't it? No wonder it was used in church a lot. Different parts of the church calendar, the Christian church calendar, I know. So, it's not that exciting for jazz, though. We like things that have a little more zing and tug and pull. So that one is flat 3, flat 6, flat 7. Let's move around with this information on minor scales a little bit. If you move the 6 up to the natural 6, the regular 6, it becomes Dorian. It's another one of the modes. So, flat 3, flat 7 only. This is much more useful in jazz. There's your major. Flat the third. 4, 5, 6, normal. 7, lowered. It's called Dorian mode. It's a minor-based scale. Anything with a flat third is called minor-based. Santana, Carlos Santana, who I've been backstage with, wouldn't have a career without this scale. So. That's that vibe he does all the time. It's Dorian mode, all right? Again, we'll talk about more modes another time. So that was more useful in jazz. Another one that's very important for gypsy jazz, which I spent about 10 years on, doing the Stefan Grappelli thing, is when you may know it, harmonic minor. You may have learned this in your classical studies. If you're a bluegrass person or folk person, you might not have. So it's really weird on the fingers. When I first joined the gypsy jazz group Babik, I had to go back and shed for a while to get not because I didn't intellectually understand it, because my fingers just weren't used. I had been doing pentatonics for so many years. And also these weird, you'll see what I'm talking about. So D. Flat the third, as all minors have. 4, 5, flat the 6, but not the 7th. It has a big stretch, a step and a half stretch from the flat 6 to the regular, or raised, not really raised, but the regular 7. It's a step and a half weird. It sounds very Eastern influenced, Indian maybe. And it's actually, from what I'm told, the gypsies, which Django Reinhardt was, came originally from India. They were mercenaries that started traveling around and kind of in caravans and had kids in the meantime, and brought the influences of their music from their home country, which I think was India, from what I'm told. So, now in Western music, this is called harmonic minor because it creates better and stronger harmonies. We'll talk about chords in a little later, but just trust me on that. In the 5 chord, we'll talk about the chord numbers too, as well as we learned about the note numbers. The 5 chord is a stronger, it's a major chord in this key. So we'll learn more about that later, but gypsy jazz, all about this. All right, so there's the pure minor, Dorian minor, and harmonic minor. very subtle but important differences.